Welcome to today's Quantum Sparks class, where we're going to do a short discussion on predictive processing theory, how understanding your mind gives you the power to build an extraordinary life and business. Today, we're going to dive into one of the most important concepts that you'll ever learn about yourself, your potential, and the life that you're capable of living. And it's called Predictive Processing Theory. And it reveals something extraordinary. You are not experiencing the world as it is, you're experiencing the world as your brain expects it to be. Your mind is not a passive observer. It is not a camera that is capturing reality. It is a prediction machine. It's constantly guessing, anticipating, and filling in the meaning of everything long before you consciously understand what you're experiencing. And this means something pretty profound. You are an active participant in shaping your past, your present, and the future. Your brain does not simply record life. It creates your life through the stories you tell, the lens you use, and the expectations that you carry. Every moment or every memory you have is an interpretation. Every moment that you experience is filtered through a prediction, and every future that you imagine is being architected by the beliefs that you hold today. This is why some people rise no matter what the conditions are, while other people remain stuck even when there's opportunities all around them. It is not external circumstances determining destiny. It is the predictions that their minds produce and the energy that those predictions generate. Because predictive processing is not just neuroscience. It's also about energy. It's about vibration. It's about manifestation that is explained through biology. Your expectations carry an emotional frequency. Your emotional frequency becomes that energy broadcast. And your energetic broadcast shapes the experiences, the people, the opportunities, and the outcomes that show up in your life and your business. So today what we're going to talk about is why your past isn't your past. It's just the meaning that you've assigned to it, how your identity shapes what you notice, what you pursue, and what you end up attracting, how expectation becomes vibration and then vibration becomes reality, how to shift the predictions your brain uses so you can shift the results that you produce in your life, and how mastering this one system can transform your business, your relationships, your confidence, your everything, your future. Because the truth is that destiny is not predetermined. Destiny is predicted, and you are the one that is writing the predictions. So when you understand how your brain constructs reality, when you learn to update the lens, to upgrade the identity, and elevate the expectation, you unlock the ability to create a phenomenal life and a phenomenal business from the inside out. Today is about learning that mechanism. We're going to master the mechanism and then use it to shape your life your future self will thank you for. So let's start. Predictive processing theory, the mind that writes your reality. As always, knowledge is only potential. The power is in the execution. So make sure to take some notes so you can execute after today's Quantum Sparks. We start and end each class with a quote. Today's quote is, "Perception is not a reflection of reality, but a battle between prediction and evidence." Andy Clark. So you're not experiencing the world as it actually is. You're experiencing the world as your brain expects the world to be. And here's the secret. Your mind is not a camera. It is a prediction engine, basically. Let's define a couple of words before we move into exploring what this means for your business and life. First, let's define expectation. An expectation is a strong belief that something will happen or will be the case in the future. Let's define predictive processing. That is the brain's method of generating and updating predictions to interpret the world. And then predictive processing theory. This is a theory that the brain constructs reality by predicting what it expects to perceive. And then everything is measured against that prediction, the expectation. So it's prediction to perception, and then we update it and we repeat it all over. So all day, every day, we are predicting things, we are creating expectations, and then the life we live is how we are measuring those, what we perceive as reality against the prediction that we had. So why does the brain do this? Mostly for efficiency. Prediction is faster, cheaper, and safer for the brain than actually waiting for reality. The brain's priority is to reduce prediction error at all costs. So what shapes these predictions? Everything shapes the predictions. History, our belief systems, the fears we have, our desires, our identity, who we believe ourselves to be, shapes our predictions. Our conditioning since childhood, as well as just unresolved stories that we hold on to. The problem with predictions is that they end up becoming the lens through which we evaluate everything. So the expectation that we create for everything becomes the lens through which we determine what happened in the past and what will happen in the future and what's happening now. The lens is what is creating the story. So perception becomes your reality, and then that reality becomes your life. So in reality, perception is your reality. Perception is simply the lens. So you're not actually reacting to reality. You are reacting to your brain's prediction of reality. You react all day, every day to expectation that you had based on the stories that you've told yourself. This is why oftentimes people can experience, you can have two people experiencing completely identical events, but those two people have completely different stories about what happened at that event because it is not actually reality that they are interpreting. It is their expectation of what they thought was going to happen. So by understanding that, you begin to see that you don't live the life that happens to you. You end up living a life that your brain predicts for you. This is kind of freeing, actually, because this is something that you can change. Things don't happen to you. You're just reacting to the expectations that you created. So let's talk about the three truths: the past, the identity, and the expectation. Truth number one: your past is not your past. Your past is simply an interpretation of things that happened. Your brain stores meaning. It does not store the actuality of the event. It just stores the meaning that you have assigned to the event. And then you project that onto future events. So the interpretation that you gave to a past event becomes an expectation for future events. That expectation becomes the perception, the lens through which you evaluate everything. And then perception becomes your reality. This is freeing because you can rewrite the narrative. In other words, you can begin to change your interpretation of events. And when you change your interpretation, everything you project changes as well, meaning you end up changing your life. Truth two: Your identity matters more than circumstance. Your identity is simply who you believe yourself to be. This is one of the most powerful truths because this also is freeing because you can choose who you believe yourself to be. That can change in just an instant with a thought. So, who you believe yourself to be, your identity, is just a seed. And that identity is what forms expectations. And those expectations then end up creating the actual experience, not the reality itself, but your experience of an event. So your identity becomes a filter through which you evaluate things. Your brain predicts from who you believe you are. So you want a different life, then you change your identity. You start changing the beliefs, who you believe yourself to be, and you will start getting a different result because you start living a whole new reality when you change who you believe yourself to be in small ways. Changing your identity plants a new prediction, and that new prediction is what becomes your life, the expectation. Truth 3. A new life, if you want a new, a better, a different life from what you're experiencing right now, this requires a new expectation. This is called predictive thinking. Life changes not by force. Your life changes by changing your expectations of everything. So changing your identity changes your expectations. This is different than wishful thinking. There's wishful thinking and there's predictive thinking. Wishful thinking is about hoping for something different or something more. Predictive thinking is about expecting it, knowing that it's coming. So where can you use predictive processing? Well, you can use it in relationships. If you expect rejection, you interpret even neutrality as disapproval. In business, if you predict reluctance from a client, for example, your confidence will collapse before the conversation even begins because you've already predicted it. Opportunity. If you expect things to fail, you're going to start noticing only confirming evidence. You'll be seeking proof of your failure, ignoring any opportunities where you win. Stress. If your brain predicts danger, your body reacts before anything even happens. It believes you. So the other reason why predictive processing is so important is because it also ties into everything else we've discussed through the Quantum Spark series, such as manifestation and the laws that you can attract. You can be and do and have anything you want in the world by understanding the laws of energy. All of this plays into the predictive processing. It actually bridges the science and the energy. So, predictive processing and the law of attraction are two explanations of the same mechanism. One uses neuroscience language, and the other uses vibration. So, a prediction that you make, and again, you make predictions all day, every day. Your entire day is you fulfilling predictions that you've made about every event in your life, your daily events. What is going to happen today? What kind of a relationship am I going to have? Things like that. Those predictions carry frequency. So every prediction carries a charge, and that charge is the frequency. So the prediction ends up becoming reality because it is the energy that is attracting what you believe is going to happen. So you broadcast to the world or to the universe, you broadcast your expectations. So expectation has emotion tied to it, and that emotion has frequency, and that frequency creates or manifests the experience that you predicted. This is both neuroscience and it is manifestation. Your nervous system prepares your body for what you expect, and your energy field broadcasts that preparation to the world. So these are the two pieces working together to create the life that you have. Predictive processing filters out, it filters what you notice, and then the law of attraction amplifies what you draw in. So you attract what you're primed to perceive, and all of that is shaped through your expectations. So when your thoughts, your emotions, and your expectations align, your signal becomes clear and strong. That coherence is a superpower. It's how you attract things energetically and neurologically. So just by updating your predictions, you can raise your vibration. This is all about changing the story, and you end up changing the expectation that you have. You change the expectation, you then change your frequency that you're putting out to the universe. And then when you change your frequency, you end up changing the outcome. Let's go back for 1 second just to identity, because this is one of the most important lenses through which you evaluate everything. You attract everything in your life from who you believe you are. So what you believe you deserve, for example, that just one little thought can change your ability to manifest everything. So for example, if you notice that there are things that you are trying to manifest in your business or life and they're just not happening, ask yourself, do you believe that do you believe you deserve what you are manifesting? Because that one little piece of your identity can be preventing you from manifesting what you wish to manifest, because you will always attract from who you believe you are. It is one of the most important lenses through which you will attract in your life. As well, you perceive from who you predict yourself to be. So every expectation you create is seeded with that identity. So, for example, if you don't believe that you deserve what you are trying to attract, then you're not going to attract it. And everything that you, every, everything that you do get in your life, you're going to evaluate it from the expectation that you don't deserve it anyways. So it hurts you on both fronts, from your energy and what you're going to attract, but also from your perception and your predictions. Your expectations tell your brain what to prepare for, and then that energy tells the universe what you're available for. This is a unified model. So prediction constructs perception, the emotion constructs the vibration, and then the vibration constructs the experience. So some exercises or practices to use in your daily life and business, so you can begin changing expectation to create a new energy for manifesting what you wish for. Number 1, interpretation audit. This means that imagine starting to look at the events in your life. And when I talk about events, it's literally anything. Any event that happens throughout your day, in your business, appointments you have, events that you host, relationships you have. Start reinterpreting things. Examine how you're interpreting it, because the interpretation is your life. Your interpretation is the reality that you are living, even though it is not actual reality. It's just your narrative around things that are happening to you. And start auditing your interpretations of everything. What meaning have you been treating as fact? So, for example, what uh, relationships, what events, oftentimes we think that we are experiencing something as true and real, but it's really just that we're assigning a particular meaning to it. Ask yourself instead, what else could that have meant? Here's a great example is that sometimes when you email somebody, let's say that you have a friend that you email or you text and you send them a text message, and normally they get right back to you, and they don't get right back to you this time. You don't hear from them for a few days. Now you're beginning to interpret things. And now you begin to tell yourself stories about that non-response. That non-response could literally mean everything. The only fact is that it's a non-response, probably a non-response. Maybe they thought they sent the message, or maybe they're just super busy. Maybe they're sick and couldn't respond. But you start to tell yourself stories, and the stories that you tell yourself become the reality of what that non-response meant. Start looking to find ways to recode your identity. And this means that when thinking about your events, thinking about how your day is going to go about, thinking about what your real estate business is going to look like next year, create a new expectation. So maybe first just write out what you, based on who you are right now and what you've done in the last 12 months, that you write out what you expect for next year in your business and life. And then do something really powerful. Throw it all out and start over and say, I'm becoming a new version of me. And the new version of me expects way more. Start preloading a prediction into everything before entering into any situation. Any new customer that you're meeting, any friendships you have, any meetings that you have. Start a prediction rehearsal. Tell yourself, I expect ease, I expect alignment, I expect opportunity to come from this. Remember the most important piece, that your mind creates the experience and then your predictions prepare for that. The core takeaway for today is that if you simply update your predictions about everything, every event, every moment, every day, your business, your life, your relationships, by simply updating your predictions / your expectations, you upgrade everything. Because those expectations, those predictions are the lens through which you evaluate everything. And the way you evaluate is how you create the reality of what is happening in your own head. Not the real, actual reality, but the reality of your world. So if you want a new world, a new life, a new business, better relationships, update your predictions, and everything else upgrades as well. Expect something better moving forward. Because by creating the expectation for something better, your brain will build the world around it. The final quote for today is, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. As always, you can get previous versions of our Quantum Sparks class at LAERrealty.com / Quantum Sparks. As well, it's now available on Spotify. And if there's ever anything we can answer in a future Quantum Sparks class for you, go to LAERrealty.com / Ask Anything. Thanks, everyone.